Eastern Conference Finals. If Miami sweeps Boston tonight, Denver and Miami will meet up in the NBA Finals beginning June 1st. At age 38, LeBron is the oldest player to score 40 points in a playoff game. It wasn't enough to get him to his 11th NBA Finals. A chilling thought for Lakers fans now that the offseason is here. LeBron ended his post-game press conference saying these words, "I've got a lot to think about," and he said it twice. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We begin top story with late breaking news.
Is it going to succeed, yes or no?
I think it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed.
Can you believe it?
Y'all did it!
KBLA Talk 1580 is about to celebrate its second anniversary on Juneteenth, and no terrible twos around here. We couldn't be more excited about all the good news we'll be announcing soon, including the launch of some new shows to keep giving you more of what you've been looking for.
Come on!
Smart radio for smart people. Hey, it's our celebration, but you get all the gifts. We'll be giving away fresh merch, swag bags, and a chance for you to join the private invitation-only, star-studded music and dance till you drop, food and drink galore second anniversary celebration. To stay in the know about the second anniversary details, download the KBLA Talk 1580 app right now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a winner. At KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward, we're bringing everybody with us.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not doing serious. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in to First Things First with the Queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is called First Things First, and my very first every single day, my very first thing, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's do it. It is a Talking Point Tuesday. That means we unpack, dismantle, demystify propaganda and BS parading as facts. And sometimes they're not just parading on TV, they're actually taking up space in our brains. They have rented out rooms in our minds, and we want to make sure we evict the things that do not serve us in our consciousness. So that's what we do very, very intentionally on a Talking Point Tuesday. Hour one, we look locally. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep, deep dive with a person or persons of interest on a topic you like or you've asked for today. My long time friend from the Bay Area, he's a sports producer and reporter, Dave Gingona, is going to join us in hour three. And yes, we will talk Lakers. We will talk all things sports, including the legacy of my dear, dear, dear beloved friend, Jim Brown, who has left the building. And whatever you want to talk about. Dave knows sports. And so this will be a lot of fun and a lot of information as well. And, you know the deal. I hope you do. If you don't, welcome. I roll out that red, that black, that green carpet for your virtual entrance every single day at 800-920-1580. This is where you can engage anytime, any hour with me, I welcome you in. 800-920-1580. I like to keep the convo going during the week, during Tavis's show, during Zoe's show. By the way, happy belated Zoe Williams. It's Gemini season. We do that on social media. That's at KBLA 1580 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know the places. And, of course, on YouTube, where I am live streaming right now. And you can see me, talk to me, chat with your friends or your soon-to-be friends in the comment section. We love, love, love that. We appreciate the like, subscribe, the follow, because it makes all the difference in helping KBLA to remain powerful and remain here at your service. Lots going on around here. Yes, you know. I mean, we'll talk more about this with my friend Dave Gingona, who is undoubtedly a Warriors fan. But as you know, the Lakers did not make it to the next round. It looked good. It really did. They started off strong. Looked like we were going to have a good game. LeBron got 40 points. But it didn't work. And, you know, Miles keeps reminding me that Denver is not, they're not some scrubs, right? I mean, this is a great team. And I didn't realize that they had never gone all the way.
Never. And not only are they a great playing team, they are a very well-coached team. They're a very well-conditioned team. They're a very disciplined team. That's a team that can win it all. That's a really special team we watched play last night.
Yeah. Discipline is really key, right? Sticking to the game plan.
Sticking to the game plan, mental toughness, like being down 15 at the half with a hot LeBron. They didn't panic. Remember, this is their first time. This is their first chance to get to the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? This isn't LeBron's first rodeo where he can have a clear mind. These are guys who've never been here before. So
right.
For them to hold that composure on the road at Crypto and come back and win.
I mean, when they really didn't have to. They didn't have to sweep. They had They had, 4 more chances
to
take out the Lakers.
Exactly.
So, and I think you got to factor in the want to thing, you know?
Yeah.
If I've never won it before, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron's got 11. Is that what Ray said? 11 trips?
11 trips to the finals, yep.
Yeah.
It would have been his 11th trip, sorry.
Oh, would have been. So he has 10. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you don't want it if you've been there 10 times. As a veteran in this radio game, I can tell you, you know, the hunger is still there, but maybe it's not quite as much as that team that's never, ever been.
Well, and I mean, truthfully, that was a better team. LeBron should not have been competing with that team. The season's over, we can be honest. They should not have been on the stage with the Nuggets that late into the season. They really overachieved, but still, with the fact that it is LeBron James, it is a healthy Anthony Davis, it is in the Crypto, it is in LA, it is playoff time. LeBron's got 40 points. You can't stop him. Everything was in our favor, so that's a great team that beat us.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I just hate sweep.
Did you see the
sweep is terrible.
Did you see the shot where he was leaning back and shot it off of 1 foot?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Wait, aren't you the guy that was saying he was old, Miles?
Who's old?
LeBron.
No, I'm talking about Jokic.
Oh, yeah. That guy's a monster.
You can't beat that.
That guy's a monster. He's too good. Well, you can. I mean, people do.
I think that it was more him. I think they folded as a team. I think if they reach their full potential like they're at now, this could be they could run the West the next couple of years. They really can. Denver can. Steph's getting up there and out of there. LeBron's out of there.
Are you saying Steph is old too?
I'm saying the Warriors are old. That culture.
Okay. Well, we shall see. But, I mean, you know, they looked amazing. And you're right. That guy, Jokic, he's like one of those freak of nature type players.
Yeah.
To me, Shaq, LeBron James, some people are just kind of freaking it. You may have talent and you do the work, but you also got genetic gifts.
Yeah. He's a 2-time MVP, too. So it's not like it's something we wouldn't expect from him. This is actually
not that he's new to high level play. It's just they haven't had the championship. Well, we'll see. Plus
he's white. See. Plus he's German. Plus he.
What is? I mean, when you say that, what do you mean by that?
It doesn't look as cool. It's not the most marketable game. He's not flashy. He doesn't have the tats. He doesn't
Oh,
dance.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He doesn't have the swagger that
doesn't
we've
speak
come to
English.
expect. He doesn't?
Not really. Not that well.
Well, there you go. There's a great game. There's a great job for immigrants.
Yeah.
No English needed, as long as you can, make shots off your back foot while twisting around in a pirouette. Yeah. All right, more on that later, but you're welcome to call and give your theories. There's a lot of theories. I think our guy Ray was kind of implying that LeBron might be thinking of retiring or leaving or something, and the LA Times is implying that he's just saying that so he can get more control over what happens with the Lakers. We'll see. It's interesting. It certainly has been a fun ride for me getting back to paying more attention to basketball, something that I had taken a break from. Really glad to see that Compton's Community Garden, which we heard was going to be no more, that because they just didn't have the money that they needed to keep the spot. And this is a story we're hearing over and over and over again. Plant Chica, we just went through that with the Heart Department in downtown LA, these black spaces that are providing important wellness services and really solutions, just not able to withstand the gentrification storm, the increase in cost of everything, not just inflation, but the actual land, rent, mortgages. But it looks like the Compton Community Garden is going to be saved. That was meant to be sold. It's at 1317 South Long Beach Boulevard. And people from the community actually eat from that garden. It's not just like a little project. It's a place where people actually get food. And it's a place in the middle of a food desert. So it went, the land went on sale. It looked like they were going to be priced out and pushed out. They started a GoFundMe page, and in 12 days raised almost $500,000, which is remarkable. It was enough to match what they were asking for the property, and apparently it's up to $500,000 now. That is amazing. They're in escrow, so we shall see, provided there's no bad news in the next month or so, which is how long it takes to close an escrow, usually a month or two. It looks like that community garden will not only survive, but become a permanent fixture there because they were able to buy the land. And I just want to thank everyone who stepped up with their change and put $5 on it for that $500,000 to save the Compton Community Garden. See, when we fight, when we unite, we win. I'm Dominique DePrima. It's a great time to call me, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Your health is important, so keep yourself and your family covered with Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal renewals will be happening soon, so if you have Medi-Cal, make sure you don't miss any important renewal information. If you've moved in the last 3 years, check and update your mailing address, email address, and phone number. Learn more at keepmedicalcoverage.org. That's keepmedicalcoverage.org. Paid for by the California Department of Healthcare Services.
Calling all small business owners, entrepreneurs, and startups. Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation is your one-stop shop for the resources and tools you need to take your business to the next level. VSEDC is a community-based nonprofit and CDFI organization recognized for decades of technical and entrepreneurial assistance to South LA small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs for 40 years. VSEDC provides training workshops and your very own business coach, and these services are all free. That's right, these services are free. Business coaches are standing by at their South LA Business Source Center or their Watts Business Source Center. Visit their website at vsedc.org or call them now at 323-752-2335. That's Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation at 323-753-2335.
Before new Cascade Platinum Plus, I would pre-rinse all my dishes because my old detergent just wouldn't get them clean. But now, I do dishes differently. And no pre-wash, no rewash, money-back guaranteed kind of different. Because Cascade Platinum Plus has double the grease-fighting power of Dawn built right in, with twice the scrubbing power, giving me a clean that lets me break all the dish rules. I just scrape, load, and I'm done. Yep, so clean. With Cascade Platinum Plus, I dare to dish differently.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Come shop Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. Prep your yard for the summer for less with 5 for $10 Scott's Naturescapes mulch. And save on appliances with up to an additional $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Find savings across the store today, like 5 for $10 mulch. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid to 5/31. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusion supplies. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarone, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station. And your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, we know there's a houseless crisis in this city. We live here. We know there's a houseless crisis in this county, and we hear a lot about the one in San Francisco as well. Washington Post had a really interesting article on yesterday about how this crisis is not just here, right? It's in New York. It's in places, all cities mostly, all across the country. And how elders, those 70 plus, are now making up 19% of the unhoused. And a lot of those people have serious issues. They may have, they need dialysis, they have colostomy bags, they may have incontinence or wheelchairs, walkers, which shelters are not set up for. So although I see us, by us, I mean Los Angeles City and County, moving in the right direction in terms of addressing these things, it's going to take more than just, housing the people we think of as unhoused. You got to think of the people in the tents. And I believe that's one reason so many people are dying on the streets. They're people who have medical issues that are not getting the attention they need. So when we think about Republicans moving to cut Social Security, moving to cut the safety net, work requirements for Medicare, that is the context we need to look at it in, right? When we think about talking points, we need to cut the safety net. Right now, Biden and McCarthy are negotiating, which I know Biden felt he had no choice, but I wish he would have just given him the middle finger. Negotiating away the safety net while Republicans refuse to roll back any of the massive tax cuts, which mostly benefit not just the 1%, but the top 10th of that 1%. So the elite of the elite, right? They refuse to roll that back. They refuse to cut military spending, which is at a level that is more than what the president or the Pentagon asked for, right? They refuse to make any cuts to their party favors for the rich. In fact, they're trying to push forward and repeal the estate tax, which is going to cost us trillions. No, because they want to balance the budget on those elderly folks with walkers who are now ending up in homeless shelters, which are not even prepared to care for them. Those are not long-term care facilities, nursing homes, or assisted living. So I think when we look at these talking points about fixing the budget and cutting back on spending, we have to be mindful of the fact that the GOP, the grand old party, is really two-faced. They want to balance the budget on the backs of poor, elderly, houseless, single families. And what I learned about these work requirements, speaking of talking points, is that really they're not even work requirements like we're going to give you a career or a job where you can raise your family. What they're talking about is work that takes people away from trying to, get educated to get a career where they can actually support a family long term. Work that usually often pays just about as much as it costs to get child care for those hours, those part-time hours, sometimes less. So really it's a punitive thing where they make themselves feel like they're forcing poor people to be accountable. Well, 60% of the wealth in this country is inherited. So most of these wealthy people have no greater work ethic than anyone else. In fact, quite the opposite. Many poor people are working 2 jobs, 2 minimum wage jobs, and still can't make ends. But now you've got people in walkers, people with colostomy bags living in houseless shelters, and they are meant to go to work in order to qualify for Medicare. You know what? Take that talking point and put it where the sun don't shine. That is just, it is cruel, evil, and also stupid. Because the smartest way to get poor people out of poverty, if that's really what you want to do, is to give them careers that can sustain them, not force them into endless poverty by putting them in super low wage jobs that do not allow them to save money because of your stupid welfare policies, don't allow them to save for a car, and barely cover the cost of childcare to attend the work. That's not a work requirement. It's a permanent poverty requirement. Let's go to Ronnie. We'll go to Carl next. Ronnie's calling from Orange County. Called a little earlier. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, Dominique and the nation out there. Hi. Dominique, I'm going to get right to it. Can you allow me to do a Laker 2 cent at the end of this?
Of
Time
course.
doesn't permit.
Of course.
Fine. But what I like for you to do is, for the nation, the doggone 1580 nation, can you explain austerity as it prepares to go against the buzzword of inflation, which is bunk, okay? And I come out of the world of learning civics in high school in the 80s.
You are paying attention, unlike some of us.
Please, thank you. That you just touched my heart, okay? Because I know we battle sometime on words, but we finally get it at the end. Please dip down and give this nation your opinion of true austerity and that bunk word of inflation against what they're taking from us under.
Yeah, I feel like, Ronnie, you have probably have some great points about this, and it is a really key talking point. They swept Europe with it, right? Austerity, they say, means cutting the fat. It means tightening our belts. It means being responsible about our spending. But austerity is really just, like you say, a buzzword, a talking point where you try to punish the poor and the middle class for the spending of the wealthy. That's how I see it. I mean, what we're doing right now, what they're talking about doing, what Republicans claim to be holding the country hostage for around this debt ceiling is to rein in spending, and austerity is needed to get our budget deficit under control. But here's the thing. What caused the budget deficit? Number one, we're paying for things we have already bought. You don't get to go back and say, well, I don't want to pay for this after you already bought it. Number two, a lot of that spending comes from Trump giving massive tax cuts to the very wealthy, right? So now you want to have the low income, the poor, the seniors, tighten their belts so that Jeff Bezos could have an extra yacht because he got a tax cut from his boy 45. That's how I see it. And what they call austerity really means draconian cuts to the poor while no pain or suffering from the wealthy. In fact, they want to keep giving the wealthy, the very wealthy, I'm talking about the top 10th of 1%, more money back, because they're talking about cutting the inheritance tax. So when they pass their wealth down, they don't even have to pay anything to the commons, of which they use the lion's share. They use more water for their big fat lawns, more freeways for their big fat cars, that and on it goes. That's my definition, Ronnie. What's yours?
Okay, and you nailed it. And if you could just come back with a small caption about the buzzword inflation, which is inflation flattens out. Okay, it's a ripple. It comes back out. And so inflation is negative at all times. Okay, it's just like how much gas you got in your car. Is your gas light on? Well, that's sort of like inflation. You can make it to the gas station. Okay, so can you unpack what the heck I just said?
I think you're talking about a couple things. First of all, the whole idea of economics being an exact science is not true, because you always, if you listen to business channels, all they do is make predictions and contradict each other. Well, economists say inflation increases when this equals that, but then it doesn't happen that way, and they make up another explanation, meaning they don't really know. It's true. Things cost more right now. Well, you got to look at cause and effect. We're in a war, whether we would admit it or not. We've taken on the Ukraine war as our own war. We're spending billions and billions. I believe we should stand with the Ukrainian people. I believe we're spending too much on it and making it too much our own war. That said, that has cut off the natural gas supply from Russia, which means we're paying more. That makes everything cost more, because gas, fuels a lot of things, not just your heating bill. And on it goes. You got supply chain still from the pandemic. Things are not recovered, which means things cost more. And whether, it goes in cycles, you're right. Whether it evens out, goes back down, or continues a steady climb up, we don't know. But what we know for sure is that economists don't really know how to fix it.
Absolutely, and I will throw in one other part about that budget. We're paying for the apartheid of Israel onto another people, and we've been doing that since the 40s, okay? And that's a huge amount. That is a third rail. But I'll leave that, and thank you so much for putting it where the goats could get it. Is there some time after the break for LeBron?
Well, we're going to news, traffic, and sports. So, yeah, we can talk LeBron after we do news, traffic, and sports. And I would just quickly add, the money that we send on foreign aid to Israel without a lot of accountability in terms of human rights, the money that we spend all over the world. Meanwhile, we are supporting the bombing of Syria by the Arab world, and we don't seem to mind that. It's way too much budget hypocrisy. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Thank you for sharing a part of your Tuesday morning with us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest. E. Jean Carroll is seeking new damages from former President Donald Trump. The writer is seeking a substantial additional amount over what her team says were insults made by Trump on a CNN town hall, a day after she won her case on May 9th. She was awarded $5 million in damages after a jury found Trump was liable for sexually abusing and defaming her. Maryland's African-American Governor Wes Moore is delivering words of wisdom to young people near and far. Moore gave the commencement speech to graduates at Morehouse College on Sunday. The governor encouraged the class to understand their history so that they can make history of their own. Morehouse is an HBCU in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
I'm Howard Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. If you own a business and still haven't applied for the payroll tax refund, we want to pay a licensed tax attorney to see if you're eligible to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers season ended last night with their best player and one of the game's all-time greats having the ball in his hands with 4 seconds left. LeBron James had a chance to tie the game and force an overtime, but Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon blocked his shot attempt. The game-saving play helped Denver hang on for a 2-point win and sweep the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. If Miami sweeps Boston tonight, Denver and Miami will meet up in the NBA Finals beginning June 1st. At age 38, LeBron is the oldest player to score 40 points in a playoff game. It wasn't enough to get him to his 11th NBA Finals. A chilling thought for Lakers fans now that the offseason is here. LeBron ended his post-game press conference saying these words, "I've got a lot to think about," and he said it twice. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America.
The story of Emmett Till and his mother is a story of a family's promise and loss and a nation's reckoning with hate, violence, and abuse of power. It's a story that was seared into our memory and our conscience, the nation's conscience, when Mrs. Till insisted that an open casket for her murdered and maimed 14-year-old son. She said, "Let the people see what I've seen." The reason the world saw what she saw was because of another hero in this story, the black press. Jet Magazine, the Chicago Defender, and other black radio and newspapers were unflinching and brave in making sure America saw what she saw. Ida B. Wells once said, and I quote, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon the wrongs."
Turning the light of truth upon the wrongs. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
The pandemic may be over, but many Angelinos could be at risk of losing the place they call home. It's important to know your rights as a residential renter in the city of LA. Did you know eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt that was due before March 31st, 2023? And that you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice, also known as an unlawful detainer. Learn more about your rental rights at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everyday.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here for KBLA Talk 1580. We're live in Los Angeles at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. And I'm speaking to some of the attendees today to see why it was so important for them to be here.
Yeah, this is Lathan and Tyler. Main reason that's very important for me to be here is just to leave a legacy for my kids. Black wealth, generational wealth is what we need in our community, you know. Oh, Chase, someone has to take the lead. They're showing, big business like Chase cares, and they're putting their money where their mouth is at. So it's good to see, big institution like Chase, giving a lifting hand, to the community. And, you got to respect that. It makes me want to bank with Chase and, give them, another look if I go to another institution. I actually see what Chase is doing for the community.
That's right. Chase is doing their part to help advance black wealth. For more money support, tune in every day from 12 to 2 to KBLA Talk 1580's Midday Money Chain, right here.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate you. 800-920-1580. That's the number Ronnie from Orange County called, and you can do the same any day of the week. Ronnie, you had some final thoughts about our Lakers.
Yes. This is Ronnie's Lake Show 2 cents. I want to give a huge shout out to all the California NBA teams that made it for the first time, I do believe. In fact, check me, Miles and Dominique. And it was great. And the Lakers had the furthest to work their way in from out of those four. And I do believe that this is LeBron's perfect time to bow. And I think getting to the conference finals is a perfect one. He did everything that Dr. Jerry Buss would have expected from the day of draft, Rob Pelinka. And it's a great time for him to bow.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's appreciate it. I think it's controversial, but I'm not mad at you. Thank you, Ronnie, for that. Hey, I had asked my friend and colleague from the organization Second Call, which is, powerful community organization, to join me for a little bit this morning and just share some thoughts on our mutual friend and ally, football great, community great, actor Jim Brown. Skip, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I've been kind of sad. I've been sad about Jim, making his transition. How are you?
I'm good. I've been sad as well. I've been sad all year. Harry Belafonte was going through it, and then he finally passed, and Jim passed as well. And I met Looney's daughter, and she made me cry. She got the same name as Looney, Lil Ronnie, and man, I've been sad all year thinking about them and Bo, and I work with Jasmine Ingram, which is James' daughter. So I can't get away from it, Dominique.
It's weird because I didn't really know Harry Belafonte. I only met him once, whereas I would consider Jim an actual friend, as you know. Like, he actually really helped me out. We talked. We did things together, him and his wife, Monique. And so maybe this one is hitting me harder, but when you mentioned Looney's daughter, Looney was an intervention worker. He was down with the cause before it was fashionable. And, of course, James Ingram, we know him as a famous singer, but he was also down with the cause before it was fashionable and really did a lot of work which people didn't know about, Jasmine being his daughters. It's kind of odd that, it's sad that Looney, who was murdered, and James Ingram, and Bo Taylor, founder of Unity One, are all gone. We're all gone before Jim. Jim was 87.
Right. Yeah, it is sad. And that's the work in the street. James used to always blame the cell phone for Bo. He said, man, he was doing too much. The phone's by his ear, and it's a stress level. It's really a stress level of working and organizing so many people, feeding all the families that Bo Taylor did. But the beauty of it is that Jim Brown saw what Bo was doing and called him in, said, hey, bring him into the American. And I think it only enhanced and made it better, I give credit to Jim Brown for having that foundation, because, of course, if there was no Unity 1, there never would have been a Unity 2. If there never was a Unity 2, there never would have been a Chapter 2. A Unity 3, Venice 2000, Helper Foundation, would have never been a Second Call. So we got to give that foundation, because Bo didn't grab me. Looney grabbed me by reciting the American curriculum at one of the schools. So I think Jim gets a lot of credit for really helping to change the culture of intervention and the people who are on the street. doing outreach.
Skip, when you say the American curriculum, for those not familiar, explain what that is.
So it's the American is the basic life management skills curriculum. I think it was created in 1988. You know, guys like Daoud Sherrill, Akila Sherrill, Dwayne Moody, T. Rogers, Rockhead, a lot of individuals at Jim's house, and they created the curriculum that we now use today as the American curriculum, which is the basic life management skills. It identifies different characteristics, different traits that a lot of individuals like myself didn't even think of back in the day. It was like the aha moment, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I actually went through that curriculum. It was a course of study where you have a series of meetings, and then at the end you graduate. And it was interesting because, like you said, it was designed for people in the community, people involved with gangs, people trying to impact their communities in different ways. And when I went, myself and my bonus daughter went through the curriculum. We were the only ones in the circle that were not on probation or parole. But we found it just as helpful as it was helpful for me in the corporate space. It was helpful for her at her, in her college space. So really, or whatever I think she was starting college. So that was, just, I think, important. And I know folks like Second Call have made your own version of it or updated it to fit your needs. But it is foundational, right?
Right. And not just you, Dominique, but Oliver Stone and his son, Michael Jai White, James Ingram, as I said. I think David Keith. There's so many different, I don't want to say celebrities, but different people of influence who have gone through that curriculum. And it's really something because it sparks the mind. To me, it was like going back to school. School was not about Martin Luther King Jr. or science. It was about me. I'm going back to school to understand myself and learn about who I am. That's what the American curriculum did for me.
Yeah, I think for me it was a lot about managing my emotions, which is partly anger management, but in a more 360-degree view, and about being in touch with my emotions. What am that where you check in, what am I feeling right now, and how is it relating to or impacting everyone in this space, and just being mindful of how my childhood conditioning might be playing out in any given scenario in the present moment.
Yeah, I thought that was the key right there, the childhood conditioning. So, at Second Call, we talk about triggers. We went a little deeper, so we definitely took the check-in. Give me one word that describes how you feel, and starting with the feelings and emotions, and like you said, getting them in check. So I think, the foundation that we have at Second Call, it's no question, speaking in the I format, it's no question that it came from American. So to me, it's a tribute to Jim Brown and those who came before me that created the curriculum or gave us the thought process to even engage the community in that manner.
Yeah, I mean, today is a Talking Point Tuesday, Skip, where I try to debunk stereotypes and things we repeat over and over again that actually undermine our well-being. And I think this idea that people who have been through a lot, especially gang members, gang interventionists, people we consider hard or whatever, that they don't have trauma, that they don't have feelings and emotions that need to be processed just as much as the next person.
Right. So for the average individual, if you ask me, how did I deal with something, I'll tell you I dealt with it, but I'll never be able to heal from it unless I truly address it. So for the most part, they're smoking, drinking, doing other things and saying, oh, I'm dealing with it. But in the meantime, they're just pushing it back to the back of the mind, not knowing that the body is holding a count. The body's holding a score, So, what I always tell people is the body will remember what the mind will forget. So there might be a trigger. It might be a song. Somebody plays Stairway to Heaven. and And for me, I'm supposed to think about what the OJs are talking about. They talking about a young lady and, the stairway to heaven, but people have put that in the mind frame of a funeral. So now that might be a trigger for me. It might change my attitude or my mood. Or it might be another song, that reminds me of my mother or something. Might be a smell. Might be somebody cooking liver and onions remind me of my grandmother. And, these type of things, people don't understand that these are triggers. And these triggers will cause me to lose my job, cause me to lose my family.
Mm-hmm.
These triggers are causing me to react in a way that I haven't healed from. And when I start acting unhealed, I can go to jail. People call the police and say he's out of control. But really, I'm just emotional and not dealing with the issues that I should have been healed from.
Yeah. Skipp Townsend is on with us. Second Call is his organization. You can join too, 800-920-1580. Wanted to really just spend some time looking at Jim Brown. I'm going to keep doing it because if anyone, I always aim to be the lion's historian until, the lion has his historian. The hunter will always be the hero. We are the lion's historians around here, and I aim to tell the truth. I've seen how things get twisted up with the death of my own father and the way people talk about black men in particular in the rear view mirror, and I intend to tell the truth and keep telling it, and we're going to continue this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580 is in the lab right now, prepping some new shows coming your way soon. More empowerment, more inspiration, more entertainment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jazz Urbane Hour. I'm your host, Bill Banfield. We are a curated musical show that highlights contemporary cultural issues and artistry, showcasing music as a relevant and necessary arm of contemporary cultural identity.
You must learn. Welcome. I am your host, Dr. Tyrone Howard on KBLA Talk 1580, and you're listening to You Must Learn, where we talk about education as a tool for transformation. Education in our homes, in our schools, and in our communities. Education for transformation is the tagline, and we are here to talk about why we must learn.
KBLA Talk 1580 is for discerning listeners just like you. So tell all your friends you've discovered the talk station curating smart content for smart people. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got you black.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles? The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com or call 213-978-1845.
On Saturday, May 27th and Sunday, May 28th, join Pastor Shep Crawford and other local houses of worship for the Apology Tour. Details about the Saturday, May 27th press conference and the Sunday, May 28th walkout are available at theapologytour.com. The Apology Tour is a united effort to engage the community and serve the least among us by tearing down the walls of division, misunderstanding, and tension between the church and the community. The Apology Tour helps to address the impact of the pandemic, which created a greater distance between the beloved community and the Black church. The Apology Tour invites participating local ministries to walk out of the building and into the community for 1 to 4 hours on Sunday, May 28th at 12 noon to provide services and offer giveaways reflective of the community's needs assessment and priorities. For more information or to join this call to action, please visit theapologytour.com, changing the community through the spirit of God's love.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
And I invite you in always, but I've also invited my friend Skipp Townsend, who's the founder of a Second Call, secondcall.org. You're going to use the number 2 and then ND and then call.org to find out more. This curriculum that we're talking about and many other programs, helping folks turn their lives around anger management, all kinds of things that are available. And you can find out more at that website, secondcall.org. Just thinking about the impact of Jim Brown beyond the football field, beyond the big screen. And I think it's funny because Jim was a tough guy. Like he was not someone you wanted to mess with at all. But
not at all.
yeah, and you know, Big U was saying that, you know, that's one of the reasons why he could talk to people, that the guys would listen to him because they had the respect for him.
Oh yes, indeed.
But it was kind of the key to that kind of exploration, personal exploration, emotional management, healing of trauma. You know, if some airy-fairy person comes along and tells most of us to do that, we're going to give them the side eye. We're not going to really pay attention. But when a Jim Brown does it, it's different, right?
Yeah, well, not only that, Jim Brown, he used the people from the community to help write that. So it wasn't a bunch of college students from Cal State Berkeley or Cal State, you know, Davis or whatever. It was actually Akila Sherrill, Daoud. It was Twilight Bay. It was T. Rogers, Dwayne Moody. You know, so many other people put into that. You know, that that's what made it so effective, is that it was coming from a place of sincerity, from the streets. And you know, one of the people that I failed to mention who was a great friend of Bo is, you know, someone you work with, Tavis Smiley, was a friend of Bo and Jim, you know, and they were, you know, he was just as important as James Ingram and others, you know. And like we said, I don't know if Tavis ever went to jail, was on probation, but he was a part of.
I don't think so. If so, I missed that part of the story.
Right. So, you know, he's another one who just gravitated to, you know, to the greatness of Jim. Yeah.
Right. And the other piece, which I know is a big part of what you do at Second Call, which I think may be underreported, is Jim's commitment to Black businesses and entrepreneurial success. I remember when I was laid off, we'll call it, from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And I started my own business, my Yay Productions business. The first two customers I had were named Brown. It was J. Anthony Brown and Jim Brown. And they were both like, well, we don't need to see a reel, a resume, a this or that. We know you. We know your work ethic. You're hired. It was like, and Jim would say to me, you know, we waste money on so many things. We waste money on the golf course. We waste money on drinks and trips. And sometimes we got to step up and support others in our community. And I feel like he was very consistent about that.
Yeah, he was. He was very community, you know. He was one of the ones who he led by example, you know. So I guess on the football field he was a role model, but in the streets he was a real model. He was someone who would invite people to his home, and you know, he would really share in his life. And you know, he held he didn't hold anything back. And Big U was right. Jim was like a pet bull, you know. So for him and Bo, you know, sometimes they would bump heads. And, you know, it's two pet bulls bumping heads, and I could see right through it. I knew it was ego on both of them. You know, it's like Bo was a great dude in the street, and Jim is like, man, but I'm Jim Brown. You know, so it's like, yeah, Jim was powerful. Even in playing chess, I remember one time I beat Jim in chess.
What?
So, you know, we go back and forth. Oh, yeah. Come on, Jim could get beat, but Jim was powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there bragging, and Jim said, he said, you going to hold a press conference or you going to play chess? What you going to do? You know, he was that type of, you know, his energy was like, man, I'm serious about what I'm doing. Now quit playing. Let's go.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think not just community in the sense of like helping others, which he did, but also in the sense of really a commitment to Black businesses.
Yeah.
We're talking with Skipp Townsend and you. It's KBLA Talk 1580. We are unapologetically progressive.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
In our community, mental health struggles can sometimes go unnoticed. The suicide rate among Black youth has risen faster than any other ethnic group. only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care receives it. African American women are only half as likely as their Caucasian counterparts to seek professional mental health services. Even those who guide us spiritually can sometimes face their own challenges. 45% of pastors say they've experienced depression or burnout to the extent they need to take a leave of absence from ministry. As people of faith, it's time to acknowledge it's okay not to be okay. You can pray and get help. Visit normalizehelp.org for more information and resources. Join us in raising mental health awareness in our community. Funded by the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health and the Champion Counseling Center of Faithful Central Bible Church.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Talking with Skipp Townsend, a second call. Skipp, how can we track what you're doing, support what you're doing? What do you have coming up? I feel like this work, this legacy continues even though we don't have Bo anymore. We don't have James Ingram any longer with us, or Looney, or Rocky, so many others, and of course Jim Brown. It's a lot, but yet the work continues. So tell us how you're continuing that portfolio and how we can support it.
God has been good. We've been growing and growing. We've always had our Thursday night classes since 2009. We're at 3500 South Normandy. That's the Abundant Life Church. That's where all the guys who are into construction or want to have some life skills and understand the life skills. The life skills that we do at Second Call is there every Thursday night. We're also in Pasadena every Monday night at 236 West Mountain. It's the Flint Ridge Center, and we utilize one of their rooms, and we're doing the same thing in Pasadena. But we're also the ambassadors at Leimert Park. We're also, we have a intervention team that's at the platform, the K-line right there at Leimert. So in that area, we have 3 different job sites. We have guys who are working behind the radio show and their construction.
Right, building
so
Destination Crenshaw, yeah.
Building Destination Crenshaw. One of our guys, Anthony Fagan, is he's a superintendent.
I'm trying to get him on the show, Skipp.
Come on, that's nothing. I'll grab him. I'll come out there at 6 a.m. and grab him and pull him into the station and lock the door and won't let him out. He is definitely someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Just coming from the area, being close with Nipsey growing up, and now imagine he has the keys to all of that right there. Company truck, gas card. He's the superintendent. And that's right there at Destination Crenshaw. Well, Second Call is the job coordinator. So we are the ones who taught him how to get into the trade and how to be great. But now on the job site, he's our boss. He's Big John's boss. So Big John, who taught me and taught Anthony, when he goes on that job site, Anthony is John's boss. Imagine that. So it's really crazy. But just being in that area, working there, working at Leimert, working at the K-line, it's beautiful because this is the area that we hold when Michael Jackson died, when Prince died, when Trayvon Martin was killed. This is the area that we all gravitate to. So to keep it, the Black historical area, this is it right here. So for a Second Call to be a part of it is really just mind-blowing. So there's a number of things that we do, but, just being at home at Leimert Park is one of them. And I'm grateful for that.
Well, Skipp, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I would encourage you, secondcall.org for more info. It's time for news, traffic, and sports, and then your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for sharing a part of your Tuesday morning with us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest. E. Jean Carroll is seeking new damages